joining the Coaching Collective. My name is Desiree Nicholas. I am the founder of Caracope Wellness Alliance. Today, I'm joined by 4 other beautiful, excellent, amazing coaches. And we're all going to be talking about wellness in general. But today we are led by Felicia Guerrier. She is a love coach and she's also a social worker like me. And so we're very happy to have you all here today. And Felicia, you can take it away. Oh, you're muted, but Felicia, Felicia, before you go, you can go ahead and introduce yourself and then the other coaches can introduce and we can get started.
That's funny because that's what I was saying while I was muted. I was like, introductions. Hello, everyone. My name is Felicia Yolanda Callis Guerrier. I just want you to know you all are special because no one knows my middle name. So my name is Felicia Yolanda Callis Guerrier. Welcome to the Hour of Love. So I am your love coach. I am a clinically trained social worker. I am also a traumatic brain injury nurse. So I love how I can utilize both of those lenses to help us heal and walk us through the path of healing and self-agency with understanding that our love of self is the first and foremost important relationship that we'll have. And that is the foundation to all of our other relationships. Welcome.
I am next. Hey everybody, so I am Kimana Neilstrong. I am the fitness coach, fitness trainer, and I have a master's in exercise science and a few certifications, nationally recognized certifications, and I train military police and martial artists, but I also train the general population and helping them to achieve their overall fitness goals, whether it be weight loss, putting on muscle, or just decreasing pain that they live with.
I was about to take a sip of tea, but it's my turn. Hello, everyone. My name is Cherise Thomas, and I am your spiritual coach. So I truly specialize in helping people rediscover themselves and their passions, and rediscover a whole different side to themselves and their spirit, to really connect with their spirit and use that in their everyday life. With spiritual coaching, you guys can expect to develop a better relationship with yourself, with your intuition, and even to develop more and deeper self-trust as well, and more confidence in just feeling that you guys can take on life challenges. Just feeling that you guys can really take on life challenges. So that is a little bit about what I do with our spiritual coaching, and nice to have you guys here.
Okay, hi guys. My name is Javel Lafe and I am from the Caribbean. I will be your nutrition coach and I am a registered dietitian. I was trained here in Trinidad and I do really love working with different people. I work with persons internationally, with persons in the Caribbean, and I really enjoy helping persons to transform holistically. So this is why I'm so excited to be working with the spirit coach and the love coach and just helping you guys to feel more at ease with whatever it is that you're struggling with right now and getting your nutrition goals on par. So I'm really happy to meet all of you and I hope you enjoy.
Great. So as you would have heard, all of these people are wellness coaches. I'm a mental health coach. Kimana is a fitness coach. Felicia is a love coach, Javel is the nutrition coach, and Cherise is our spiritual coach. And so you'll get a chance at the end to get an understanding of how you can work with these people based on what you hear today. So we look forward, and Felicia, take it away.
Hello, everyone. So I just wanted to give a little detail around who I am so you can understand what in the world is a love coach. So my company is Alabaster Consulting. So if you understand biblical principles, which all of my work is really based on, you would know the story of the alabaster box. And you would also understand how all of my foundations around love are definitely around the biblical principles in Corinthians. So being a love coach and being a clinical social worker and being a nurse, the reason that I feel it is very important is because we come into this earth and then society, family, crises, trauma, culture kind of identifies us. It gives us stigmas. It tells us who we are. And my job is to kind of bring us back to our authentic self. So that would be under the trauma. That would be under the shame. That would be under the disappointments. It would be under all of these things that happen as life comes, all of the baggage that life brings. It would be unpacking all of that to find out who you are, to allow yourself to blossom and kind of just grow. So in the next few minutes, I want us to really think foundationally about love. So I want us to just take one quick, deep breath. And when you do this breath, I want you to think of this phrase: love is hard work. I want you to breathe it in and I want you to let it out. Thank you. Now, even though love is hard work, it's real work and it's good work. Last week we spoke with Cherise and she was excellent. She had so many topics that were great intersections to the conversation for today. And one of them that really, really stood out was when Cherise was talking about when you're manifesting, the way and the difference between you thinking it and then it coming from your heart. And we were talking about how the language of the heart is what actually like gives life to everything. We think of manifestation as visions, what you see here, but you really see it more so, not just in your mind's eye, but also in your heart. So I have a question. It's a foundational question that I would like the coaches and for all of us to think about. And when you think about it, it might sound like it's a little hard, but it's not. I want you to think of the very first word that comes to your mind. So the question is, please describe your personal feeling or belief of the word love in one word. So we're just going to sit with that for a few seconds and I'll repeat it. Describe your personal feeling or your personal belief around the word love. And I want you to describe it with one word. So the question goes out to the coaches first, giving you guys a few seconds. Take that breath in again, blow it out. And whatever comes to mind first, I want you all to go. Now, after the coaches, I really would love to hear what our attendees have, what words come up with you. So let's start. What is love to you? One word.
I'm gonna say complicated.
Excellent. Who's next?
I'll say action.
Action.
Is action. Mhm.
Very good.
I see effort.
Effort.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I have a tiny bit of noise, but I would say service.
Service. Very good. All right. So we have complicated, action, effort, and service. Is there anyone who would like to raise their hand and we can hear from you as well? Very good. All right, Dekian, let's hear your one word. Unmute yourself.
You can hear me?
Yes, what's your one word?
Sacrifice.
Thank you. All right. Dekian, mute yourself again. Hisha, what's your one word?
Hard.
Hard, H-A-R-D. Thank you. Des, you keeping notes of all of these good words? Kizzy, what's your one word?
Unconditional.
Unconditional. Excellent. Excellent. Now, which one of our coaches would like to kind of go down the line and break down why they use that one word? Let's start with you, Kamana.
All right, well, I use the word complicated because, you know, as Desiree would say, love is a verb, but I grew up feeling that love was a feeling, even though I do agree like love is a verb. But if I think about my familiarizations with love growing up, I feel like it's a feeling. However, love can be juxtaposed with other feelings that you express towards someone. So the same person that you love, you could be mad with them or you could be mad at them. The same person that you love, right now, you like them, another time you dislike them. So that's why I feel like it could be complicated. And then sometimes you feel like I should be doing X, Y, and Z because I love the person, but then certain circumstances may dictate that certain actions or what you think you should do is not as straightforward as it was or what you thought it would be. So from a feelings perspective, and being that emotions are complicated, I feel like love can be complicated.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I didn't mean to like pick on you, but it's just that I love the word. I love the word complicated because, you know, I'm old school. I was born in 1970. I graduated high school in the 80s. And, you know, I'm a hip hop baby. So this generation loves the new word that is complicated. So I really wanted to hear your take on the word complicated. So I want to kind of stay in that space. And we heard some other words that sounded familiar, that sounded, you know, pretty close to that. We heard effort and we heard hard. So our nutritionist coach, let me get you in the mix before I go on. Talk to me about why you the first word that came up was effort for you. And it's a great word.
Thank you. So like Imana said, sometimes you go through different feelings, and in loving someone, you can get hurt, you can be disappointed, and sometimes you don't feel like loving at one point in time, but you have to make a conscious effort to either forgive that person or try to heal from whatever it is that you went through. And I think, you know, like somebody said, it's unconditional. So regardless of what somebody did, whether they hurt you or disappointed you, if you really love them, you will put in the effort to try to make things work. And yeah, that's why I choose effort. Because love is hard. Yeah.
I loved how you said the conscious effort.
Yep.
You know, so that's the intent, the mindfulness part around it. The maturing, that's like emotional maturity to consciously say, let me put the effort in it. So Hisha, I don't want to put you on the spot. So you let me know what I wanted to hear more about hard. So we had complicated, effort, and then like my triangle would be hard. And that's just because I know, you know, most people feel that way. You have anything to say about why you said hard?
Just basically like when you're dealing with another person that you're trying to learn and love, sometimes it's just hard to understand them. That's it.
Excellent. Excellent. It's true. It's true. So when we think of when you're in an intimate relationship, now I'm assuming, so I need the two coaches that spoke to correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm assuming we're all talking about intimate relational love. It's not, you know, like I love my mama or I love me. We're talking about relationships. Yes. Yeah. All right. let's go there. I didn't know which way we were gonna go, but this is where we're going. So in my little intro, I mentioned how there's this baggage that we carry. And the reason that we're carrying it is because we come into the earth nice and free. And then as life happens, then we start to pick up different things. I'm always amazed at how little children are fearless. They are completely fearless, and society teaches the fear. The cartoons teach the fear. Scooby-Doo teaches the kids how to start to be afraid. So then that's the first baggage that, we start to pick up, and then it just continues to go on. When we say it's hard because we're trying to learn and understand the other person. Understanding the other person would mean understanding the baggage that they carry. Yeah. So when we're understanding the baggage that they carry, here's my flip. We first have to understand the baggage that we carry. Right? Anybody agree? Somebody raise a hand if you agree.
Can you explain that though? Like you're saying, we have to learn our baggage first.
We have to understand ours first. Meaning, of course, culturally, depending on how you were raised, is a certain age that you're allowed to date and things like that, right? So let's say 16. By the time you're 16 and you start dating, you've had 16 years of living. And even if you have had nothing happening, you've watched relationships, you've watched your parents, if they're together, if they're not together, if they broke up, if they divorced, if you were adopted. So you have so many narratives by the time you're 16 and you're ready to date. Anybody understanding where I'm going?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's concept of love is not the same. And so because we're all socialized differently, even if we grow up within the same culture, our ideas of love, simply because we might have different parents, might be very different.
Absolutely. And that's also like leading to my second question. And I'm going to come back to that. But I think the second question that I have will allow us to go into the full conversation. The second question for our coaches and for all the wonderful attendees, look at that screen. What have you been told most often and may have believed was a definition of love? What have you been told is love? What have you believed is love? So this can be no more than like a quick sentence, coaches. So let's just try to like do some, focus on this answer so that we can kind
I'll
of
go first.
dive deeper. Thank you, Cherise.
So things that I've heard about around the love. So kind of like Kimana, I thought love was a feeling. You kind of feel it, or either you feel it or you don't. And then the word that I heard around love was a lot of like work, sacrifice. Those are some of the words that I was either hearing or the things that I was seeing. A lot of sacrifice, a lot of work. Yeah, that's what I heard around love growing up.
Mm-hmm. Did you believe any of that?
Yeah, for sure. For a little bit, I did feel like, when you love someone, you can't you kind of have to just sacrifice. You know what I mean? There's just like no way around it. There is just what love is about, right? So that was a lot that I had to unwork.
Okay. All righty.
Mine is kind of opposite from Cherise's. So I had the whole Disney view of love, like, you know, it's fairy
Yes.
tale
Mhm.
and it's all perfect and bliss and it's just natural and it's all good. And then the reality it's that it's not, you know, exactly so picture perfect. So mine was kind of different from hers.
Thank you. But I'm wondering, when did you have that reality that it's not a fairy tale?
I think like when you get to that age when you start dating, like 16 and whatnot, so you get your first heartbreak. But yeah, and like kind of learning to just be open and yeah,
Mhm.
that's what.
Okay. All right.
So for
Thank
me,
you.
so for me, I learned from what I saw that love was about control.
Mm. Wow.
Either controlling the other person or controlling yourself in order to be loved.
Mm.
And there are some things in the chat, so let me know when you want me to let you know what I see.
Yes. I was gonna say as soon, right after Kamana, let's see the chat because I see it's nice and engaged. I'm excited. Thank you, Des. That's a good word. So the two words that are really resonating is complicated and control. Wow, 2 C's so far. I'm just saying, like, for the culture, that's what I'm seeing, like on Instagram and everything. Go ahead, Kamana.
Yeah, like growing up, I would associate love with a feeling, and I thought love was like a more intense like you have levels. Like if like is a feeling, like you could like somebody without even talking to them, right? So love was like times 10, basically, or whatever arbitrary number you want to attach to it. Now, what do I think about it right now? Well, I feel like it's a myriad of things, right? So action for sure, feeling for sure, um, maybe some confusion too, who knows, right? So I mean, it's like, you know, like life is complicated and love is like a central part of life. So I feel like if life is going to be complicated, there's some room for complication in love. I feel like even in the interpretation, the feeling of it, the expression of it, sure, I feel like it's a lot of stuff. Complicated, action, feeling.
Excellent. That's like, we gotta pause and breathe after all of that. It's a lot to take in. All right, Des.
Okay, so you want me to tell you what's in the chat?
Yes, please.
So one person said, I don't think I was ever told. Another person says, love don't hurt. And then that person went on to say, love is a two-way street.
Okay.
And then the other person said, love is an invitation to pain.
Oh. Okay. So I felt that. We all felt that. And it resonates. We all understand that. I would hope that this discussion would allow you to reframe how you're thinking of it. Let's say that. But I'm so happy you're here, whoever that was. Also, I heard in the chat that someone said they were never told. They were never told that they were loved.
No, that they were never told what it was.
Oh, they were never
The question
told.
was, what were you told, or what did you believe?
Okay.
For me too, I wasn't told,
Mhm.
and maybe until I was older, but I always absorbed and I always observed, so I can speak to what I saw rather than what I was told.
That's such a great observation, because now when you think about it, I'm not sure if culturally that's something that we were taught. or
Told.
told?
I was, yeah, I was just about to say that. I was like, same. Everything was just based off of like observations or what you heard in the movies or in the songs, basically.
Hmm.
Mhm. One person says in the chat, I've always believed that love was only associated with positive things.
Hmm. So I'm wondering at this point, is that true for you? Whoever that was, you want to come on the mic? Mic check, mic check. Did they respond?
Not
So,
yet.
Hi, yeah, I'm good. Good night, everybody.
hello.
Hi, so to clarify, basically, I would say not really, not entirely, in the sense that as someone would have mentioned um earlier, I think now I'm speaking in the context of, let's say, like relationship, for example.
Mhm,
And I heard you mention something about maturity
mhm,
some time ago.
mhm,
And based off experience that I would have had, there came a time whereby I would have had to like make certain decisions for myself where I would have had to remove myself from communicating, continuing conversations or communicating with someone, let's say, who I believed I would have loved
mhm,
and I thought I loved, but for whatever reason and from I guess from my mental health, I had to remove myself from that situation. But
mhm,
then in remove myself, I had to ask myself the question, okay, do I still love the person even if I'm no longer communicating? But it wasn't love in the sense that okay, that there was a desire to be in a relationship, but love to the extent whereby I love myself and I know what I need, and I love the individual that they need maybe help and they need better for themselves. So I'm gonna allow them to get that opportunity to have better or to develop themselves to be better so that they could be better for some maybe not for me but somebody else, and because I love them in that capacity, then I'm going to let them go. And to other persons it may seem as a negative, it may seem as negative because you have separation and everything happening, and some people don't really associate separations at all with positivity. And sometimes if you're mature enough, it's really not so bad if you could both be mature enough and say that okay, yeah, this is the best thing to do, and I think that that is love. To others it may seem as negative, may the situation might be negative in terms of the energy and all the tension and everybody that is involved, but
mhm.
yeah.
So you have jumped to the end of the whole scenario. That was an excellent summary of where we would go. And you summarized how you can love someone and leave, because if you're emotionally mature, you realize that what they need and what they need to develop, that you can't be in the midst of that because it can affect your mental health. So it's like both of us don't need to like drown together. And I can love you enough to let you go and get what you need. And I can absolutely love me enough to not subject myself to that type of pain. So thank you so much for sharing that. I wanted to go back now to how all of these things that we've seen, um, when we're thinking, well, no one ever gave me a definition of love, or we say, well, love is really complicated because life is complicated, and we say, well, love is hard. So all of these things go back to what I was saying to Hisha when I said all of it starts with us first being very reflective and looking at ourselves. Now, when you're a child, you're dependent on adults to take care of you and to guide and protect you. But now as an adult, now we're responsible for guiding and protecting ourselves. So now at this point, when we are, because y'all want to talk about relationships. So now at this point, when we're here as an adult, we have to decide on all of these terms that I'm about to use that we don't have time to like really delve into, but we have to think about our own emotional health. We have to think about boundaries that we're setting. We have to think about what we're okay with saying goodbye to, like Khadijah expressed. We have to think about all of the baggage that we have accumulated. How do I unpack them? What help do I need to unpack them? Because when I say self-love is the foundation of all love, if you haven't been able to love yourself, because if we started dating early at 16, and if society kind of tells, especially women, that like you're not a woman if you don't have a man, or society tells a man you not a man if you don't have a woman or multiple women, is all of these different stories, all these different narratives that are giving us an ideology of what we think love is. We also had someone who said love is an invitation to pain. So in saying that, that's like she has looked, or he has looked up, has looked at the historical picture of what love is, like the historical music, Mary J. Blige, like all of these songs and all of these books and all these things around how love is so heartbreaking. And then we say it's an invitation to pain. So now we're at a place where we're like, wow, this is requiring a lot of healing for myself. Because if I am at a place where I can unpack all of these things, like I said, there's so many things that comes with it, like what has society told you? What have you told yourself? All of these things. Now I have all this stuff to unpack so that I can get to the center of loving me under shame and disappointment and things that are complicated and things that are hard, and kind of flip it all around. So working with me is us flipping it all around, we're flipping it, and we're focusing directly on ourselves, because all of these things that we have shared just now, you know, it's all of these things with regard to bringing someone else into our inner circle that this can happen. If I love, I'm open to pain. If I love, it's complicated. If I love, it's sacrificial. So the work that I do is absolutely mirroring it. So if you come to me and you say, love is sacrificial, there's a sacrifice. I know, Dekin, you said that. And I know for me, when I ask myself the question, that's the one word that came up for me, that love is a sacrifice. So then I have to ask myself, what am I willing to sacrifice for myself first? You know?
Yeah,
like you got something to say.
that's deep. What am I willing to sacrifice for myself? And, you know, so in my work as a mental health coach, I've found that that's a question that a lot of people don't yet understand, right? And so they'll be in relationships or talk about wanting to be in relationships, but that's a question that I always pose to them, and that goes back to boundaries, right? What are your limits? Like, what are you willing to sacrifice? And it has to start with that kind of work, working on yourself, knowing yourself, because if you don't know what your limits are, what you're willing to give up, then when your boundaries are being violated in love, it will take you by surprise. And sometimes you won't even know how to respond, because you hadn't really done the work to think about and reflect on, and to look at your life and say, this is what I can deal with, and this is what I can't. So it's really, really important to dig deep and really know yourself when you're thinking about making a big commitment, especially in romantic relationships.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's like when we're thinking of sacrifice, and then they're like, okay, what are you gonna sacrifice for yourself? And then there's when you said it's like knowing your own boundaries. There's simple questions to find out about you that sometimes if you've been you know, the word entanglement has come up since Jada Pickett. My daughter did a wonderful paper on entanglement before Jada. But there's so many entanglements that we have. And it's almost like, here's my art. So it's like, if you're here, I need a board. If you're here, and then you have all these other things going around, you can't see yourself in the middle of it. And I know y'all couldn't see that, but you can imagine if I put a dot here and then I just scribbled all around it, you no longer can see the dot. So we're not just entangled with people, but we're entangled with ideologies, with thinking that things are complicated and hard. Like all of the words that we've used, we put those in there and then we create it. Like Sharice spoke on last week, you manifest. So Sharice, I'm gonna grab you real quick. When we're speaking about understanding who you are and being reflective of who you are, and then knowing your boundaries, if you don't do that, when last week, Sharice, you said, we're always manifesting, even when we don't know it. So can you see and speak on how that connection would happen, even in our love lives, how we're manifesting the chaos because we don't have our own boundaries to know who we are and where those boundaries begin and end?
That's such a loaded question.
I'm sorry.
No,
This
no.
is here to help.
Thank you. No, just let me know a little bit. Can you repeat for me exactly what you're asking me? Sorry.
So last week you were talking about, look at me with this hand up. Last week you were talking about about manifestation and how we manifest all the time, even though we don't know it. And you gave an example of how we can manifest things that are kind of like negative with, without knowing it. And you were saying we have to be more intentional. So I was saying that's similar in love. If you don't know, if you haven't done the work to be reflective, understand your boundaries, to kind of evolve, to kind of throw away all of the things that people have said and people have done to get to you.
I feel you. I feel you now. Thank you. Yes, I see the connection. So most definitely, since we're always manifesting, like I said last week, that it's very normal that it plays out in our love life as well. Like Ivana said, like love is a part of life. So every single belief that we have about love in the back of our heads is continuously manifesting throughout our relationships. And like you, I always say that not like you, I always say, but like you, I'm always looking at our relationships to tell us a lot about what is going on in our life right now. A lot of times people say in the spiritual world that our relationships are reflections of us. It tells us what we really need to work on, or it can trigger us or bring up things in us that, we may not have known alone. So this everything you're saying, it brought up so much for me, because when you were talking about the sacrifice, I was like, because I said sacrifice as well. It's like, what are you willing to sacrifice for yourself? That was so profound to me. I just wanted to tell you that, by the way. But for sure, what we believe about love is 100% coming out in the relationships that we're attracting and what we're accepting in our relationships, and the whole entire frequency of our relationships. And if we do not know ourselves, what we truly want in a relationship, if we're basing our relationships off of what society says we should want in a relationship, then that is messing up our whole, and like, it's messing up our manifestation of the person that we truly want to attract, or the love that we truly want to receive. We don't know ourselves. And yeah, I went very far with that, but yeah. Excellent. I confirm what you're saying.
No, it's perfect, because I just wanted everyone to know how this team here is extremely holistic. Like everything that we talked about intersects with each other, and it's just presented for you to be a whole person, like whole in your journey of healing. And so Des, I know it's 6:40, but I'm just gonna throw this out here at our nutritionist really quickly. So do people like well, I shouldn't say that because I know I do. What do you think about when people are eating certain, like, okay, for me, here it is. You ever heard the term that people say eating chocolate is like, it gives off the same types of like chemical reactions in your brain as like pleasure? Is this true?
It actually does. It does. It helps to release endorphins, and it actually helps to our blood vessels to open up so that the blood rushes to our bodies more, and then all of that rush, it gives off that feeling of, you know, high. But it does help to release dopamine and serotonin and all of those feel good hormones as well. So food is powerful. Yes, it is, quote unquote, it is definitely an aphrodisiac as well. So just saying.
So now we know
Yes.
why Valentine's Day is full of chocolates.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
sorry,
yes.
Des. I see a bunch of stuff in the chat. Thank you,
Mhm.
Javelle.
You're
Oh,
welcome.
people are just like laughing and responding and saying yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then we had
Yeah.
someone was talking about how when it comes to love, they realize that they mimic the love between their parents in their own
Yep.
relationships.
Yep.
Moments were beautiful, but moments were also hell on earth.
Mhm.
So now that I'm older, I work on loving my partner the way I want to be loved and creating my own version of what love means. I love that. I love the whole creating my own version of what love means.
I love it. That's absolutely the work. That's the brave, bold work. So when we use all of those other words, love is hard, love is complicated. Yeah, when you're starting to do that work for yourself, it's going to be complicated, it's going to be hard, it's going to be sacrificial when you start doing it for yourself. I always would tell my children that you're not, the law of attraction is you're not going to attract what you want. You're going to attract who you are. So that's why I said working on yourself first, unpacking your own baggage first is the key to attracting the love that you want, because you become the love. You become complete. You become the person that's on the journey of healing, because that's what we want. We don't, you know, as much as we can have a bunch of baggage, we don't really want, you know, we want someone. It's like the person can be, the definition of them could be like just crazy, but if they are on the journey and doing the work, that's sexy. Like the new sexy is the man or woman that's doing the work to evolve to be their best self. I'm just saying, can I get somebody put some hands up? Anybody agree? Anybody? You know, right? That's sexy. That's sexy because that's hard. It's hard for you to decide, I am going to reflect on me. I'm going to create the love that I want. I'm going to love me better than anyone else has. So, you know, I have to stop because, you know, all of the deeper things is when we work together. And I want to honor your time. So Des, it is 6:45 and my time is up. I don't know if anyone has a question for me real quick, and then my time is up.
Yeah. So for me, a question that comes to mind, and I know people probably have this question, and you can feel free to respond in the chat, but a question that comes up when you were talking about working on yourself is, what does it look like to work on yourself? What does that unpacking look like? And if anyone has any suggestions, feel free to put it in the chat, and then that can be something that we can talk about if we have time. But we did have some questions, and Felicia, I'm just gonna stick to the ones that are related to relationships that people would have submitted before. So, Sharice, are you here? So I'm gonna, just to give Felicia a break, I'm gonna pose the first question to you.
Mhm.
All right, so
Oh,
this
I have my
question
phone
says,
turned off.
This question says, learning to let go of your past thinking that people are out to hurt you, or you have alternative motives for doing things for you, and learning to trust people again. How do I let people in?
Well, I know this is her question and I'm letting her come and answer it, but I know she put up this great post that I reposted on Instagram around trusting yourself.
Mhm.
And that it's profound, and it's just real that you're not going to be able to trust anybody else until you are able to trust yourself. And again, drum roll, that is the work. But go ahead,
Yeah.
Shri.
No, I was like, thank you, still Felicia. No, it's so true because I found this question was so aligned because I literally put that post a couple days ago. And as Desiree was asking me the question, I literally wrote down like self-trust. And the thing is that, once we've had these experiences and people have hurt us, or any of those feelings and those experiences stay with us and they're imprinted in us, we kind of, we don't want to go through it again. Our bodies, our minds, we don't want to go through it again, and we tend to protect ourselves. So the thing that I would say to this person, and the thing that I really want to get through to them, is that you got through that experience. Yes, it may not have felt good, but you got through it and you are better equipped for it now. And if you can see the lessons in it, and if you can look back on it and find the highest lessons in it, and go from that space of knowing that you've learned something, you're better prepared for it, there's no reason why you should be scared of life. And a lot of the times when we don't want to trust people anymore, or we feel like, oh, everyone else is against me, or they're hurt me, is because we don't have that essential trust in ourselves, that we don't have that connection with our intuition, with ourselves, to know that no matter what, no matter someone's actions towards you, like, you still have yourself. You still have yourself, and you can still be there for yourself. And what someone else does is not a reflection of who you are as a person. So understanding that the things that they did to you, or if someone has hurt you or something like that in the past, like Felicia said too, it's their own baggage that they're probably either working through or haven't worked through, and not letting that close your heart to life. Because if you guys were there last week as well, we talked really about how the heart is what helps us manifest everything that we truly want. So we want to keep our hearts soft as possible, and open to life, even though we have received pain, even though pain is part of the emotions that we're here to experience. So it shouldn't stop us from loving again. So I hopefully that answered that question.
Mhm.
Hopefully that gave some support.
Yeah, and as you were talking, it just brought back, one of the things that I've learned, going into the field of mental health, and when it comes to the subconscious, is that the beliefs we hold about others are often a reflection of ourselves, of our true selves. So if you believe that, if you hold this belief that everyone shouldn't be trusted, then what does that say about what you believe about yourself? Right?
Exactly.
And then that means that there's some work to be done there on yourself. Right? Yeah. So
Yeah. And you like you were saying with the, like Felicia was saying with the whole, if you don't trust yourself, you can't trust someone else. A lot of the times too, when I feel like people are not wanting to put back themselves out there, whether it's in the dating scene or anything like that, is that they feel like they made a mistake, or they did something wrong, and the fact that relationship didn't work out, or that thing, it meant that it's something about them. They make it mean something about them as well. So I felt that was important to add.
I have something to add. You ladies rocked it. Thank you so much. That was awesome. But while you guys were talking, I started thinking about the culture around trust. That when we talk about how did we see our parents or whatever, I know like parents, aunties and stuff like that will tell you, you can't trust, don't be trusting people. Like it's a culture around saying not to trust. And it definitely, it definitely comes back from historical trauma, post-traumatic slave syndrome, where, we could not trust any situation because it was not safe. So a lot of that is like, in our DNA. And then this is the work. It's hard. It's where you have to say, I know this is what it is. I know this is what society says. I know this is what I was taught, that I'm not supposed to trust, but I have to get to the place where I have to trust me, and I have to keep my heart soft and open, like Cherie said, so that I can receive, because whatever I believe is exactly what I'm going to receive. So if I'm putting myself in this bondage, then nothing can happen. And I know it's hard because it's definitely cultural. Like, it's so, we feel so unsafe in our Black skin that it's like, I can't trust, but that's part of the hard work.
Yes, and so the last question, so this one is going to be a bit controversial, but this is a safe space, and we welcome all ways of thinking, right? So this person says, why do men think they are never wrong? And when you catch their mistakes, why do they try to put it back on you? Felicia, that's for you.
Oh my goodness, that's hilarious. But I get you. I feel you. I feel you 110%. So it's actually what Desiree and Sharice have already said. It's around how people project. So if I'm being deceptive and I'm being divisive and I'm lying, I'm going to project that on you. If I get caught, I have to like project that on you and do some gaslighting. Gaslighting is from a movie where what your reality is, the person is trying to make you doubt it, like it's not really happening. So that's what's going on. And that's why in that question, when I say, let's do our own work, then when you do your work on yourself and your healing and your work on yourself, then you will attract the same person that you are. So like we said earlier, that these relationships, we said it, in these relationships, sometimes they're showing you things that should be worked on. So now after hearing this panel and we get off, ask yourself the question again and think, okay, what is that teaching me? What do I need to work on? Because life is the ultimate teacher. Whatever pain is the ultimate teacher. So when we think that all of this is bad, it's teaching so that you learn from it. So yeah, it's projection and gaslighting, and it's just showing who they are. And like Auntie Maya Angelou said, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. And then you make your decision, your wise choice to take care of you.
Yeah, and so Felicia is not saying in any way that that's all men or anything like that. She's just talking specifically, and I'm sure the person who asked the question is speaking from their experience and from the people that they know, right? So yeah, I do. Yeah, I do want to wrap up a little and let everyone know, as we're talking about this self-work, what we're all about here at Caracope. And so all of these coaches you're going to get a chance to work with. We are planning to do a launch as of March 3rd, where you'll be able to sign up to work with each of these coaches. So for me, I'm a mental health coach, and I have a few different mental health coaches on my team. We're all from the Caribbean, and also, we work outside of the diaspora as well. And for mental health coaching, what we offer is individual services. So that would be one-on-one sessions. It virtually, you have an intimate setting where you can work on some of the things that are a little bit more personal to you. Specifically, I have emphasis on helping people to cope and helping people to find coping skills that they can use and implement into their life. We're all talking about self-care these days, and while it may seem like a trend, it's not. And so I really want people to understand how self-care can be very simple tasks and very simple things that we can do to take care of ourselves. because it's really important, right? Things will happen in life. We can't prevent that and we don't have control over that. However, the things that we have in our toolbox to help us cope is what helps us get through and builds our resiliency. And so I help people to understand how their thoughts affect their feelings and how their feelings manifest into behavior. And so I'm gonna pass it to, who's next, Felicia, just to talk about what her services will look like.
Hello again. So I am Alabaster Consulting, and it encompasses a couple of things, but what I love most is the love coaching. Working with me, you get like a 2-for-1 because I get to coach you, which is a different hat than being just a therapist, but you get the two. So it's like therapeutic coaching because I'm a clinically trained social worker and I love clinical work. That's how me and Des have linked, that we love clinical work and we love the idea of having the entire diaspora on a healing journey, you know. So working with me would be exactly what we talked about today. It would be you bringing to the table all of the things around love, all of the things around pain, all the things around growth. And we would work on that. So I want you to know that healing can look like all of the things we said today, but you don't have to do it alone. I would be here to walk you through all of those steps and stages to get into your authentic self, finding out what your boundaries are, finding out who you are, finding out what you want, and helping you open up to attract just that. So I'm so excited and I can't wait to work with you. Thank you.
Yes, and so if you'd like to work with Felicia when we launch, you'll be able to do that, sign up through the CARICOPE website to work with her in a group. And, you know, in working with all of these coaches, it'll also be in a group setting and you'll get a taste to work with each of them. And that will help you understand and decide like, what are your priorities and what do you want to delve into more? And so if you want to work with them on an individual basis, that can be something that you can discuss with them. Who's next? Cherise?
Yeah, I'll go. So like Desiree said, we are going to be meeting monthly, but truly what I want the listeners to understand about the spiritual coaching, my goal is for it to be a very, very healing space, a very, very safe space, and also for me to support you throughout your inner work. So I also I want you to think of it as a space where you can truly come in and talk about anything that is blocking you on your journey right now from going to the next level. Whatever the next level looks like for you, it doesn't matter. Whatever you feel like is blocking you is what we're going to truly work on. And like I said, during this safe space, a lot of healing is going to occur, a lot of rediscovering yourself and your passions and what it is that you truly feel like you're here to contribute to society, to humanity. And but emphasis on very, very safe space and very honest space, very intimate space, and a space where you can truly come and bare your heart and soul and be witnessed. So that is a little bit what coaching with me will be focused on around. We are going to have a group chat as well so that we can continue to support each other throughout our journeys. And you will also be getting, I'm going to be in the group chat, so you're going to be getting that 24/7, not 24/7, but daily support as well from me. Thank you.
I guess I'll go. Oh, Javel, you want to go?
I think I will go. You could go ahead and I'll end. Yeah.
All right. So I'm the fitness coach, and the first thing that you guys will get is going to be a generic program. So the program is based on your body weight. So I know there's people of different age ranges, different training ages too, different experiences with exercise. weight exercise program that you could do from anywhere. And it basically will build you up from 0 to hero. That's how it's titled. But if you don't have any training experience at all, you don't have to be intimidated. You're not going to be doing craziness or crazy stuff. Basically take into consideration everybody's or a lot of people's limited access to equipment, or maybe some people don't even like going to gyms, like they feel intimidated, they feel judged and stuff like that. They want to do stuff in the privacy of their home or maybe a park or something like that. Now, everything is going to be done on a phone, an app. You can't see it right now. Maybe next week you may see it. You log into the app and you can hook your Apple Health to it, Apple Watch to it, Withings to it, Facebook to it, MyFitnessPal, a bunch of other stuff. So you can track your meals taken in. You can track your, I don't know if you could track, yeah, you could track your caloric intake. You could put progress photos in there. You can track your body weight, your body fats, right? Because Javel will probably tell you, like, you can lose weight, but if you're, are you losing bone, muscle, or are you losing fat? Like losing weight is not just losing weight. So you want to see how much weight loss is coming from fat and how much weight loss is coming from your lean body mass, right? So you can track that. You can track your steps, you can track your sleep, and a bunch of other metrics to track your health and your fitness, right? Then there's also going to be some demonstrations in there. So video demonstrations of me doing certain exercises, explaining them to you how to do it and how to get the most out of it, and how to progress the exercises on a week-to-week and a month-to-month basis. Everybody's going to be grouped into the same group on the app or Facebook, but I think it may just be on the app, and then you guys could communicate with me there, and you guys could communicate with each other there. So you have a community from which people can support you and encourage you based on any pitfalls you may have or any aha moments that you may have along the way.
Okay, and for me again, I'm the nutrition coach, and just a little backstory. I found out about CariCope through just me speaking to different persons and their struggles with their own body and their own souls. And I was like, I really need some expertise on the mental health section, because I think that your body and your soul are just totally intertwined. And today when Felicia presented, I'm like, oh my God, this is exactly what I tell the people who work with me. It's you loving yourself and understanding that whatever you put in your body, whatever food you put in your body, it's a direct reflection of how you value yourself. So it's not a matter of you coming on and saying, you know what, I can't have this or I can't have that, but you're learning about foods, the impacts of foods, the power of different foods, and how you can manage that to help you to look your best and to glow and to just truly have that complete transformation. So I know when you do the inner work, you glow and you just look so different. It's the same thing with nutrition. So we're trying to, you know, just do the work and get to the best version of ourselves. And what that would look like with me, it's also a group program. So it's kind of like a tribe where you have persons who are also on that journey, and you can support each other via chat. We have different rewards, we have different challenges, and we will meet together every month, once a month. So we have a different topic that we talk about and just share whatever is going on in our different journeys. So that's what that would look like with the nutrition package. And of course, you can also try to work with me one-on-one if that's something that you would like. Yeah, so that's about it.
Thank you everyone. And so next week, you're going to hear from our fitness coach and our nutrition coach. I'm looking forward to it. I'm very excited to see what they bring. And Felicia, I don't know if you want to close us out with an answer to this question. Is love universal? Does love have limits?
So love has its own language, and it's absolutely universal. The power of love is what created the universe. God is love, you know. So, and does it have limits? So I was speaking with my husband just last night about holding space for others. And we were talking about reciprocity. So love in its ideal form is shared. It's a flow. It's a constant flow. If you're holding most of the weight of it, then now you have to think about how is that affecting you. So you said the other part was, is it what was the other part?
Does it have limits?
Does it have limits? Right. So that's why I was saying that. So if we're both loving each other, there's, love languages and things like that. That's a whole nother session talking about love languages, because someone can love you, but you might not perceive it because it's not the way you perceive love. But I think the limits would be knowing like your boundaries. So I think, we all should have our boundaries and love ourselves enough to know that if this boundary is constantly being, disrespected and whatever, that I have to get back to my self-love and, so it depends, but it's definitely universal.
Mhm. Yeah. And so as we close, I had asked earlier, like, what does working on yourself look like? And someone had responded saying it's about analyzing, checking in with yourself, learning about yourself, including triggers, dislikes, likes. And I always tell people it's also knowing what your values are. And sometimes it may be hard to answer that question yourself. Like, what do I value? And sometimes your life can tell you that and your actions can tell you that. And so if that's something that you're searching for, one of these people on the team can definitely help you to find those answers.
Amen.
All right. So I look forward to seeing you all next week. If you really enjoyed this, please let other people know, because next week is supposed to be our last week. We're thinking about giving more, but we'll see. So
There's just a reminder for them to ask questions. So you can ask questions in advance
Next
for
time.
the nutrition coach and the fitness coach.
yes.
So we're
so
looking forward to that.
yes.
Yes.
So thank you, everyone, and have a great night.
And bye, everybody.
Oh, wait,
Oh, wait, are you asking?
Go ahead, say it before I stop recording.
So before you all go, we are going to continue these conversations on a podcast called Heart Conversations. And it's going to be all about those hard conversations to have, those complicated conversations to have. So if you enjoyed tonight, I know you would absolutely love to listen to the podcast. We will announce when it's going to come out. We wanted to come out for Women's Month, April, I believe in April, we wanted to come out. So please continue following Carrie Cope and all of the coaches and myself to find out when that's going to launch. And these conversations can continue there. So please support us. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.